The battlefield of the Orion Corridor had fallen eerily silent. Moments earlier, the Imperial Grand Fleet had suffered the worst defeat in galactic history. Wreckage from thousands of shattered warships drifted through the void, their burning hulls casting an eerie glow across the stars. Emergency rescue beacons blinked weakly as damaged vessels searched for survivors. Captain Marcus Vale stood motionless on the bridge of the Titan Valiant, watching the endless sea of debris. "Begin rescue operations," he ordered. An officer looked surprised. "Sir, they're the enemy." Marcus didn't take his eyes off the stars. "They're soldiers. Today they're enemies. Tomorrow they could be allies." Human rescue ships immediately left formation, flying toward disabled alien vessels. Across the battlefield, terrified alien crews watched in disbelief as human medics entered damaged ships, not with weapons, but with medical equipment. One wounded alien commander stared at the human officer helping him. "Why are you saving us?" The human simply smiled. "Because this war isn't against innocent lives." Suddenly, every alarm aboard the Titan Valiant activated at once. Warning: unknown hyperspace anomaly detected. The bridge lights turned red. An officer rushed toward the central console. "Captain, massive hyperspace ruptures detected." The main screen zoomed toward the edge of the galaxy. At first, it looked like distant stars. Then, the stars began disappearing, one by one, as if something unimaginably huge was blocking their light. Captain Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Magnify." The computer enhanced the image. The bridge fell completely silent. Thousands of gigantic hyperspace portals were opening simultaneously. Each portal was larger than an entire planet. Blue and violet energy swirled around them like cosmic storms. Then, the first ship emerged. It wasn't merely large. It dwarfed even the mighty Titans. Its dark metallic surface reflected no light. Strange glowing symbols covered its armor. Behind it came another, then another. Within minutes, more than 10,000 colossal warships had entered the galaxy. None matched any known civilization. Far away, inside the Galactic Council bunker, Chairman Vorake watched the live transmission. His face turned pale. "No, it can't be." One elderly historian whispered a name that hadn't been spoken for over 1,000 years. "The Void Dominion." The room froze. Young officers looked confused. "What is the Void Dominion?" The old historian swallowed nervously. "They existed before the Galactic Council. They destroyed entire civilizations. They disappeared centuries ago. We believe they were extinct." Silence filled the chamber. If the legends were true, everything the galaxy had fought over no longer mattered. Back aboard the Titan Valiant, General Amelia Hayes appeared on Marcus's command screen. "We confirmed their identity." Marcus asked quietly, "Friend or enemy?" General Hayes didn't answer immediately. Instead, she uploaded an ancient classified file. Its security clearance exceeded every level ever created. Marcus opened it. One sentence appeared. "Project Prometheus. Status: hidden since 2089. Marcus's heartbeat quickened. This can't be real. General Hayes finally spoke. "It is. The Void Dominion isn't here by accident. They've come because of us." The unknown flagship slowly moved forward. Then, a deep transmission echoed across every communication channel in the galaxy. The voice was calm, ancient, powerful. "Children of Earth, after centuries of silence, we have finally found you. Every human ship, every alien ship, every civilian world heard the same message. The galaxy had expected an invasion. Instead, the mysterious civilization had come looking for humanity." The transmission echoed across every corner of the galaxy. "Children of Earth, after centuries of silence, we have finally found you." For several seconds, no one moved, not aboard the human fleet, not inside the Galactic Council, not even among the mysterious warships of the Void Dominion. The entire galaxy seemed to hold its breath. On the bridge of the Titan Valiant, Captain Marcus Vale stared at the holographic display. "Who are they?" No one answered. Every intelligence database returned the same result. No match found. General Amelia Hayes appeared on the secure command screen. Her expression was more serious than Marcus had ever seen. "Captain, it's time." Marcus understood immediately. The Prometheus files. General Hayes nodded. They were never supposed to be opened. But humanity has no other choice. Deep beneath Antarctica, more than 5 kilometers below the ice, a forgotten military complex awakened. Ancient security systems powered on after remaining dormant for nearly 200 years. Massive steel doors slowly opened. Dust drifted through the air. Rows of silent machines came to life. At the center of the underground chamber stood a single object, a perfectly smooth black sphere, nearly 30 meters tall. Its surface reflected nothing. Not light, not heat, nothing, as if it didn't belong to the universe itself. Professor Elena Ross stepped forward. For 20 years, she had guarded humanity's greatest secret. She placed her hand on the sphere. Immediately, ancient blue symbols spread across its surface. A calm mechanical voice filled the chamber. Genetic match confirmed. "Welcome, descendant of Earth." The sphere slowly opened. Inside, a glowing crystal floated in the air. Its light illuminated the entire chamber. Professor Ross whispered, "So the legends were true." Back in space, the unknown flagship transmitted another message. "Return the core, and no blood will be spilled." Every government in the galaxy heard it. The Galactic Council looked confused. What core? But aboard every human flagship, the answer was already known. General Hayes turned toward Marcus. "They're talking about the Prometheus core." Marcus stared in disbelief. "The black sphere isn't human technology." General Hayes slowly shook her head. "No, it was discovered beneath Antarctica in the year 2089, long before humanity built the Titans. Scientists believed it was the greatest archaeological discovery in history. Hidden beneath kilometers of ice, they found a crashed alien structure. Inside it, only one object remained, the core. For decades, human scientists couldn't activate it, until one day, a young researcher accidentally touched its surface. The core responded instantly, not because of technology, because of DNA. It recognized humans, only humans. The core changed everything. It revealed knowledge beyond imagination, advanced fusion reactors, artificial gravity, quantum shields, hyperdrive navigation, self-repairing alloys. Even the Titan-class ships were built using knowledge provided by the core. Humanity hadn't stolen alien technology. It had inherited it. Captain Marcus whispered, "So, we were never alone." General Hayes nodded. "We just didn't know who left it behind." Meanwhile, inside the Void Dominion flagship, an enormous throne room glowed with blue energy. At its center stood a tall figure wearing black armor covered in ancient silver markings. His eyes shone like stars. He wasn't human, yet his face looked strangely familiar. He spoke softly. "They have activated the core." An officer bowed. "My lord, shall we begin the invasion?" The mysterious leader looked toward Earth. "No, they are not our enemies. They are our descendants." The bridge became completely silent. Back aboard the Titan Valiant, an emergency alarm interrupted everything. "Captain, Galactic Council fleets are moving again." The holographic map changed. Thousands of surviving Council warships were regrouping. Chairman Vorakay had made his decision. Rather than face the truth, he would destroy both humanity and the Void Dominion. Captain Marcus looked at his officers. "The Council still doesn't understand." He took a deep breath. "Prepare every fleet. If they want another battle, they'll have one, far beyond the stars." 3 great powers now stood on the edge of war. Humanity, the Galactic Council, the Void Dominion, and hidden deep inside the glowing Prometheus core, a final message began to unlock, a message that could change the destiny of the entire universe. The stars above the Orion corridor glowed with the wreckage of war. Thousands of destroyed warships drifted silently through space. But the battle was far from over. Inside the heavily fortified capital world, the Galactic Empire, millions of soldiers lined the streets as the enormous palace gates slowly opened. For the first time in 50 years, the Supreme Emperor himself appeared before the galaxy, Emperor Zorith. He was nearly 3 meters tall, wearing black armor forged from the core of a dead star. His crimson eyes burned with rage as he looked toward the holographic image of Earth's expanding fleet. The chamber remained silent. No one dared to speak. Finally, the Emperor broke the silence. "So, the humans have embarrassed my empire." An admiral knelt before him. "My Emperor, we underestimated them." Zorth's expression hardened. "No, you underestimated them. I simply trusted fools." The admiral lowered his head. He knew what came next. A single motion from the Emperor's hand, and royal guards fired. The admiral collapsed instantly. No trial, no mercy, only silence. The Emperor slowly walked toward a gigantic star map. Red lights marked every human victory. Fortress Omega, gone. The Imperial Grand Fleet, broken. Several border systems, captured. For the first time in centuries, the Empire was losing. Zorith clenched his fists. If the galaxy begins believing humanity cannot be defeated, then my empire dies. He turned toward his chief scientist. "Wake it." The scientist froze. "My Emperor, are you certain?" "It has never been activated. It could destroy entire sectors." Zorth's voice became ice cold. "I did not ask for your opinion. I gave you an order." Deep beneath the imperial capital, more than 20 kilometers below the surface, an enormous underground chamber awakened. Ancient machines powered on. Massive reactors roared to life. Gigantic blast doors slowly opened. Inside, something moved. At first, it looked like a planet. Then, mechanical wings unfolded. Thousands of engines ignited. A colossal war machine slowly rose from the darkness. Its name appeared across every Imperial display. World Eater, the largest weapon ever built by the Galactic Empire, nearly 1,000 kilometers long, powered by an artificial star, capable of destroying an entire planet with a single shot. The Empire had built it in secret for over 200 years. No one outside the royal family even knew it existed. Meanwhile, aboard the Titan Valiant, Captain Marcus Vale received an urgent transmission. "Captain, our deep space probes have detected an unidentified object." Marcus looked at the tactical screen. "What object?" The officer swallowed nervously. "Its energy output is greater than a star." The bridge became silent. General Amelia Hayes immediately joined the conference. "Run another scan." Within seconds, the AI completed its analysis. The result appeared in giant red letters. "Threat level, extinction." Marcus stared at the screen. "What is that thing?" No one answered. Far away, inside the mysterious Void Dominion flagship, their leader quietly watched the same scan. For the first time, concern appeared on his face. An officer stepped forward. "My lord, the World Eater has awakened." The leader closed his eyes. "I hope the Empire would never use it. Prepare our fleet. If humanity falls today, the entire galaxy falls with them." Back on Earth, emergency sirens echoed across every continent. Citizens looked up as hundreds of human battleships entered Earth's orbit. Schools closed. Factories switched to wartime production. Every defense satellite activated. President Elias Morgan addressed the people once again. "My fellow citizens, our enemy has chosen fear over peace. They believe they can destroy Earth and end humanity forever." He paused, then spoke with unwavering confidence. "They are wrong." Across the solar system, millions of volunteers reported for duty. Scientists worked without sleep. Shipyards launched new battleships every hour. Families watched silently as their loved ones prepared for battle. No one celebrated war, but no one was willing to surrender. At the edge of the solar system, space suddenly cracked open. A gigantic hyperspace portal appeared. It kept expanding, larger and larger, until something unimaginable emerged. The World Eater. Its enormous shadow covered entire fleets. Its central weapon slowly began charging. Blue-white energy gathered into a sphere larger than Earth's moon. Captain Marcus whispered, "So, This is the Emperor's final gamble. General Hayes looked directly at him. If that weapon fires, Earth will cease to exist. Marcus turned toward every officer on the bridge. His voice remained calm. There is only one option. Every crew member stood. They already knew the order before he spoke it. All fleets. Intercept the World Eater, far beyond the stars. The greatest battle in human history was about to begin. The solar system had never known silence like this. Earth floated peacefully beneath a blanket of blue oceans and white clouds, unaware that beyond the orbit of Neptune, the largest battle in human history was about to begin. Across the darkness of space, more than 4 million human warships formed a defensive wall around the solar system. Behind them, the 12 mighty Titan-class fortress ships powered up their massive engines, their blue energy cores glowing brighter than small stars. Every commander knew one truth. If the enemy broke through, Earth would fall. On the bridge of the Titan Valiant, Captain Marcus Vale looked toward the tactical display. The image sent chills through every officer. The World Eater continued moving toward Earth. It was so enormous that hundreds of battleships could have flown through its main weapon without touching the sides. Its armor reflected nothing. Its engines distorted space itself. One officer whispered, "It looks like a planet." Marcus answered quietly, "No, it was built to destroy planets." Suddenly, every communication channel came alive. The image of Emperor Zorth appeared across the battlefield. His crimson eyes burned with confidence. "Humans, you fought well. You surprised my empire. But every civilization eventually learns one lesson." He smiled. "Hope always dies." Behind him, the World Eater's main cannon continued charging. Energy readings climbed higher every second. 20%, 35%, 50%, 70%. General Amelia Hayes appeared on Marcus's command screen. "We cannot allow that weapon to fire." Marcus nodded. "I know." He turned toward the fleet. Operation Iron Shield. Begin. Immediately, thousands of human carriers opened their launch bays. Millions of autonomous fighters surged into space. Behind them came heavy bombers, drone swarms, electronic warfare ships, missile cruisers. The darkness disappeared beneath endless formations of human spacecraft. The first wave accelerated toward the World Eater. The Imperial fleet answered instantly. Hundreds of thousands of enemy warships emerged from hyperspace around the superweapon. Blue plasma filled space. Missiles crossed like rivers of fire. Explosions illuminated entire sectors. The Battle of Seoul had begun. Human railguns thundered. Alien plasma cannons answered. Destroyers collided. Carriers burned. Entire fleets vanished inside expanding fireballs. Yet humanity kept advancing. Every lost ship was replaced by another moving forward. No retreat, no surrender. Captain Marcus watched the battlefield. Target the escort fleet. Human AI calculated billions of firing solutions every second. Precision strikes shattered enemy formations. Imperial cruisers exploded one after another. The escort fleet slowly began collapsing. For the first time, the World Eater stood exposed. Marcus raised his hand. "Titans, fire." 12 colossal beams erupted across space. The combined blast struck the World Eater's forward shields. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then, the entire solar system shook. The shields cracked. Massive lightning spread across the giant weapon. Cheers erupted across every human bridge. "We damaged it." But the celebration lasted only moments. The World Eater's shields regenerated. Its main cannon continued charging. 85%, 90%, 95%. On Earth, billions watched the battle live. Families gathered in homes. Children looked toward the night sky. From the surface, they could actually see flashes of the war taking place millions of kilometers away. President Elias Morgan stood inside Earth's Global Defense Command. One officer looked at him. "Sir, if they fire, there won't be enough time." The president remained calm. "Humanity has survived every challenge in its history. We survived this one too. Back aboard the Titan Valiant, emergency alarm screamed. An officer shouted, "Captain, the World Eater has locked onto Earth." A massive targeting beam stretched across space. Every computer confirmed the same terrifying message. Primary target, planet Earth. Marcus closed his eyes for one brief moment. Then he opened them. His voice was steady. "Bring the Valiant directly in front of the cannon." The bridge froze. One officer stared at him. "Sir, that will destroy us." Marcus smiled faintly. "If one ship can save 8 billion lives, then it's a price worth paying." Silence filled the bridge. No one argued. Every crew member returned to their station. They had made their choice. The mighty Titan Valiant accelerated forward, positioning itself directly between the World Eater and Earth across the battlefield. Every human captain watched in silence. Captain Marcus Vale was preparing to sacrifice the most powerful ship in humanity's history. The World Eater's cannon reached 100%. A blinding sphere of energy formed at its center. Then it fired. A beam brighter than the sun tore across the darkness, heading straight toward the Titan Valiant. The World Eater's beam tore across space like the birth of a new sun. Every sensor in the solar system was blinded. The blinding white energy raced toward the Titan Valiant at nearly the speed of light. On Earth, billions of people looked into the night sky. For a brief moment, the heavens turned completely white. Inside the Titan Valiant, warning alarm screamed. Warning impact in 5 seconds. Captain Marcus Vale stood calmly on the bridge. No fear, no hesitation, only determination. Around him, every officer remained at their station. No one tried to escape. No one asked permission to leave. They had already made their choice. A young communications officer looked at Marcus. "Captain, my family is watching." Marcus smiled. "So is mine." He activated the fleet-wide channel. Every human ship, every station, every city on Earth could hear his final message. "My name is Captain Marcus Vale. If this is my last battle, I have only one thing to say." He looked directly into the camera. "Never let anyone tell humanity that we are too small to change the galaxy." The transmission ended. The beam struck. A massive explosion erupted around the Titan. The shock wave spread across millions of kilometers. Every nearby battleship was thrown backward. Earth's telescopes could see nothing except endless light. For 10 long seconds, silence. Then the light slowly faded. The bridge of the Imperial flagship erupted in cheers. Emperor Zora smiled. "It is over." But suddenly, one officer shouted, "My Emperor, look!" The tactical display zoomed in. Standing inside the fading explosion was the Titan Valiant, badly damaged. Its armor had melted. Half its engines were gone. Several sections burned uncontrollably, but it still stood. Its shield generators had absorbed just enough energy to survive. Across the human fleet, thousands of voices erupted in celebration. "They're alive! Captain survived." Marcus slowly stood back up. Blood trickled from his forehead. Smoke filled the bridge. Half the control panels were destroyed. An engineer shouted, "Captain, we've lost 70% of our systems." Marcus looked toward the World Eater. "We only need one." Far away, inside the Void Dominion flagship, their mysterious leader watched quietly. One of his officers spoke. "My lord, the humans survived." The leader smiled for the first time. "I knew they would." He turned toward his fleet. "It is time." Enter the battle. Thousands of Void Dominion warships accelerated toward the solar system. For the first time, humanity was no longer fighting alone. Emperor Zorth watched in disbelief. "No! They cannot interfere." An officer shouted, "The unknown fleet is attacking our right flank." Gigantic beams of blue energy ripped through Imperial formations. Entire battleship groups disappeared within seconds. The Empire had gained a new enemy. Captain Marcus noticed the incoming allies. "General Hayes, are they helping us?" Her answer came immediately. "Yes, but we still have one mission. The World Eater must fall." Marcus nodded. He turned toward the surviving Titans. Only one remained battle-ready. The others had been heavily damaged protecting the fleet. The Valiant had become humanity's final spear. The last Titan, an officer whispered. Marcus smiled. Then let's make it count. The Titan's remaining reactors diverted every ounce of power into its main weapon. Lights across the ship went dark. Life support dropped to emergency levels. Engineers manually rerouted power cables as sparks flew through the corridors. The AI announced, primary cannon charging, 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, 100%. The weapon had never been charged this far before. Warning messages filled every screen. Warning reactor failure imminent. Marcus didn't hesitate. Fire. The Titan unleashed its final shot. A brilliant blue beam crossed space, heading directly toward the heart of the World Eater. The Imperial crews watched in horror. The beam pierced weakened shields, cut through layers of armor, and struck the artificial star powering the superweapon. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then, the artificial star became unstable. Cracks of white energy spread across the World Eater. Its engines exploded. Its central cannon shattered. Emperor Zorth rose from his throne. No! This is impossible. The greatest weapon ever built by the Empire was dying. But before anyone could celebrate, a new warning appeared on every human screen. Warning core overload detected. The World Eater wasn't simply exploding. Its artificial star was collapsing into a massive gravitational singularity. If it detonated, it would destroy the entire solar system. Captain Marcus looked at the growing sphere of energy, then at Earth. There was only one way to stop it. He whispered quietly, I know what I have to do. The World Eater was dying. Its artificial star had become unstable, glowing brighter with every passing second. Massive cracks spread across the colossal superweapon as rivers of white energy burst through its armor. Every sensor in the solar system reported the same terrifying prediction. Warning core detonation in 8:59. If the artificial star exploded, Mercury would vanish, Venus would burn, Earth would become nothing more than cosmic dust. Inside the Titan Valiant, the bridge shook violently. Smoke poured from damaged consoles. Emergency lights flickered. Captain Marcus Vale stared silently at the countdown. 8 minutes. 8 billion lives. One impossible choice. General Amelia Hayes appeared on the command screen. Her voice was calm. Marcus, there may still be one option. Marcus looked up. The Prometheus core? She nodded. The Void Dominion has transmitted the activation sequence. They believe only a human commander can control it. An encrypted data file appeared on the main display. Marcus opened it. The screen filled with ancient alien symbols. Then, the symbols transformed into English. A single instruction appeared. A willing heart is the final key. Marcus frowned. What does that mean? Professor Elena Ross answered through the secure channel. It means the core cannot be controlled by force. It responds only to sacrifice. Meanwhile, aboard the Void Dominion flagship, its mysterious leader finally revealed his name. I am Aurelius, guardian of the first civilization. He looked toward Earth. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors discovered a young world filled with extraordinary life. They saw potential unlike anything in the galaxy, so they left behind the Prometheus core. Not as a weapon, but as a gift. One of his officers whispered, the humans were chosen. Aurelius nodded. Yes, they were never meant to rule through fear. They were meant to unite the stars. Inside the Imperial flagship, Emperor Zorth watched the collapsing World Eater. His hands trembled with rage. I built that weapon for 200 years. It cannot end like this. An officer stepped forward. My Emperor, the fleet is collapsing. The Council world is surrendering. The Void Dominion has joined humanity. Zorth slammed his fist into the command console. Then I will finish this myself. He activated the emergency command. Across the battlefield, more than 1 million Imperial drones suddenly came online, hidden inside destroyed warships, hidden inside drifting debris. hidden across the battlefield. Like a swarm of metal insects, they rushed toward Earth. Captain Marcus saw the tactical display change. Drone swarm detected. Estimated arrival, 7 minutes. Earth no longer faced one threat. It faced two, the collapsing World Eater, and 1 million autonomous attack drones. Marcus closed his eyes, then looked toward his crew. You all know what happens next. No one moved. No one objected. The first officer stepped forward. We're with you. Another smiled. Until the end. One by one, every member of the bridge crew stood. The entire bridge saluted. Marcus returned the salute. It has been the greatest honor of my life. The Titan Valiant slowly turned. Not toward Earth. Toward the dying World Eater. General Hayes realized his plan instantly. Marcus, if you merge the Prometheus core with the artificial star, the explosion will stop. Marcus nodded. But the Valiant won't survive. Neither will I. Silence filled every communication channel. Even enemy commanders listened. On Earth, people watched the live broadcast. Families cried. Children hugged their parents. Across every city, millions stood in complete silence. Captain Marcus Vale had become humanity's symbol of courage. The Titan accelerated, straight toward the collapsing World Eater. Imperial ships desperately opened fire. Human fleets formed a protective shield around the Valiant. The Void Dominion joined them. Blue and silver beams crossed space. The final path was open. Marcus smiled. This is for Earth. He placed the glowing Prometheus core into the Titan's central reactor. Immediately, the ship filled with golden light. Every system overloaded. The AI spoke one final time. Prometheus protocol activated. Farewell, Captain Marcus Vale. The Titan disappeared into the heart of the World Eater. For one endless second, the galaxy became silent. Then, a wave of golden light spread across the solar system. The unstable artificial star collapsed safely. The World Eater dissolved into billions of glowing particles. Earth was saved. Inside the Imperial flagship, Emperor Zora stared at the empty battlefield. His greatest weapon, gone. His fleets, destroyed. His empire, falling apart. At that exact moment, hundreds of Imperial commanders transmitted the same message. We surrender. The Emperor collapsed onto his throne. The Age of Fear had come to an end, but far beyond the battlefield. A faint signal emerged from the golden light surrounding the destroyed Titan. General Hayes looked at the screen. A small smile appeared. Impossible. Marcus might still be alive. The destruction of the World Eater changed the galaxy forever. For centuries, the Galactic Empire had ruled through fear. Entire civilizations obeyed because they believed resistance was impossible. But today, that belief had died. The image of Captain Marcus Vale sacrificing the Titan Valiant to save not only Earth, but the entire solar system, spread across every known world. Billions watched the recording. Many wept, even those who had once called humans weak. On the capital planet of Aurelia Prime, thousands of citizens gathered in the central plaza. Massive holographic screens replayed Marcus's final moments. An elderly alien woman looked at her grandson. Do you know why humanity won? The young boy shook his head. She smiled softly. Because they were willing to die. To save strangers. The boy looked toward Earth shining in the distant stars. I want me to human someday. Across the crowd, no one laughed anymore. They applauded. For the first time in galactic history, humanity had earned the respect of the stars. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the same hall that had once echoed with laughter now stood in complete silence. The empty chair once reserved for Earth remained at the center. Chairman Voorhees slowly walked toward it. He stopped, lowered his head. Then, in front of every representative, he knelt. Gasps echoed throughout the chamber. No chairman had ever knelt before another civilization. His voice trembled. We judged humanity without understanding them. We mistook kindness for weakness. We mistook patience for fear. He closed his eyes. Today, the Galactic Council offers its deepest apology to the people of Earth. One by one, representatives from hundreds of civilizations stood. Then, they knelt as well. The chamber that had once mocked humanity now honored it. Meanwhile, inside the Imperial flagship, chaos had erupted. Emperor Zortha's surviving commanders surrounded the throne. My Emperor, the western sectors have declared independence. The southern fleets have surrendered. The eastern colonies have recognized Earth authority. Every report was worse than the last. The Empire wasn't simply losing. It was collapsing. Zora stared blankly into space. His dream of ruling the galaxy had vanished, not because humanity was stronger, but because humanity had given the galaxy something the Empire never could: hope. Far away, the fleet of the Void Dominion entered Earth's orbit peacefully. For the first time, their mysterious leader, Aurelius, stepped onto human soil. He arrived without an army, without weapons. Only a small group of guardians accompanied him. President Elias Morgan welcomed him at the United Earth Assembly. For a long moment, neither leader spoke. Then Aurelius smiled. "Our ancestors chose wisely." The president looked surprised. "You always believed in us?" Aurelius nodded. "We did not choose humanity because you were the strongest. We chose you because, when given power, you chose compassion." Suddenly, every communication satellite across the galaxy activated. A mysterious signal appeared. It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't from the Void Dominion. It came from deep space. The signal carried only one sentence: "Captain Marcus Vale, confirmed alive." Silence swept across every fleet. General Amelia Hayes rushed into mission control, traced the signal. Within seconds, a location appeared on the holographic map. Near the remains of the World Eater, a small escape capsule drifted through space. Rescue ships accelerated immediately. Minutes later, the hatch opened. Inside, Captain Marcus Vale slowly opened his eyes. The first face he saw belonged to a young rescue pilot. She smiled through tears. "Welcome home, Captain." Marcus looked through the window toward Earth. "So, we won." The pilot laughed. "No, sir. We inspire the entire galaxy." Days later, a grand ceremony was held on Earth. Representatives from more than 500 civilizations attended. Where humanity had once stood alone, now they stood together. President Morgan stepped onto the stage. He looked toward Marcus, who still carried the scars of the final battle. Then he addressed the galaxy. "Today, we do not celebrate victory. We celebrate unity." Thunderous applause echoed across the stars. For the first time in history, the galaxy had chosen a new path, and that path began with humanity. 1 year had passed since the Battle of Sol. The scars of war still marked countless worlds. But for the first time in thousands of years, the galaxy knew something it had almost forgotten: peace. The once burning battlefields had become construction zones. Human engineers worked alongside alien scientists. Former enemies rebuilt cities together. Children from different civilizations played in the same parks. The galaxy was changing. Above Earth, a colossal space station slowly rotated in orbit. It was larger than any structure ever built. Its name was written in glowing silver letters: the Unity Station, built by humans, designed for everyone. For the first time in galactic history, every civilization was invited. No rulers, no empires, no conquerors, only equals. Inside the station's grand assembly hall, more than 600 representatives filled the chamber. The atmosphere was completely different from the old Galactic Council. There were no thrones, no golden crowns, no symbols of power. Every leader sat in identical seats. At the center of the hall stood a single podium. Behind it, Captain Marcus Vale. His wounds had healed, but the scars remained. They reminded everyone of the price humanity had paid. Marcus looked around the room. A year ago, many of these same leaders had laughed at Earth. Today, they had come seeking guidance. Marcus took a deep breath. "My friends, we can spend another 1,000 years fighting over power, or we can build something greater." The room became silent. He continued, "The strongest civilization isn't the one with the biggest fleet. It's the one willing to protect those who cannot protect themselves. One by one, leaders began standing, not to salute, but to applaud. The applause echoed to the enormous hall. Even Chairman Voorhees smiled. Humanity had not demanded respect. It had earned it. Meanwhile, deep inside the abandoned imperial palace, Emperor Zorith sat alone. The once mighty throne room was empty. His armies were gone. His banners had fallen. Only silence remained. He looked at an old hologram showing his empire at its greatest. Thousands of worlds, millions of ships, unlimited power. Now, nothing. A loyal guard entered quietly. My emperor, our last fleet has surrendered. Zorith closed his eyes. So, it truly is over. The guard lowered his head. What are your orders? For several seconds, the emperor said nothing. Then, he removed his royal crown, placed it gently on the throne, and walked away. Without guards, without soldiers, without an empire, the age of tyranny had ended. Far above Earth, the fleets of humanity and the Void Dominion flew side by side. Their massive ships no longer pointed weapons at one another. Instead, they escorted civilian transports carrying doctors, engineers, and explorers to distant worlds. General Amelia Hay stood beside Aurelius aboard the flagship. She looked toward the stars. What happens now? Aurelius smiled. Now, humanity fulfills the purpose for which it was chosen. General Hayes looked at him. And what purpose is that? Aurelius answered softly. To become the guardians of peace. Later that evening, President Elias Morgan officially signed the Charter of the Galactic Alliance. Every representative added their signature, one after another, until the final signature belonged to humanity. The moment the document was completed, the entire station erupted into applause. Outside, thousands of starships activated their lights simultaneously. The darkness of space filled with blue, silver, and golden beams. It looked as though the stars themselves were celebrating. Captain Marcus walked alone to the observation deck. Earth glowed peacefully below. Professor Elena Ross joined him. You saved the galaxy. Marcus smiled. No, we all did. She looked toward the endless universe. Do you think this peace will last? Marcus remained silent for a moment. Then he answered, as long as people remember why we fought, there will always be hope. At that exact moment, a long-range exploration satellite detected something unusual beyond the edge of the known universe. An unknown signal, not from the Void Dominion, not from the old empire, something far older, something far more powerful. Mission Control immediately classified the transmission. Only one sentence could be translated. The Guardians have awakened. Marcus stared into the darkness beyond the stars. A new journey was about to begin. But this time, humanity would not face it alone. 3 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Empire. The galaxy no longer lived under fear. The endless wars that had lasted for centuries had finally come to an end. Across thousands of star systems, former enemies had become allies. Trade routes replaced battle lines. Research stations replaced military outposts. The stars that once witnessed destruction now carried ships filled with explorers, scientists, and families searching for a better future. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. Humanity had transformed it. Above Earth, the Unity Station had become the heart of the Galactic Alliance. Every day, representatives from hundreds of civilizations gathered beneath its enormous crystal dome. Humans, aliens, artificial intelligences, all sitting together as equals. No species stood above another. No empire ruled over the weak. Only one principle guided the alliance. Strength exists to protect, not to dominate. Those words were carved into the entrance of every alliance station across the galaxy. Captain Marcus Vale had become a legend, but he refused every title offered to him. They called him the Savior of Earth, the Hero of Soul, the Guardian of the Galaxy. He accepted none of them. Instead, he returned to the same place where his journey had begun, the bridge of a starship. Only this time, it wasn't a warship. It was the Alliance's first deep space exploration vessel. Its name was simple, Horizon, Marcus believed the future wasn't found through war. It was found through discovery. One quiet evening, Marcus stood alone on the observation deck. Earth glowed behind him like a brilliant blue jewel. A young cadet approached nervously. "Captain, may I ask you something?" Marcus smiled. "Of course." The cadet hesitated. "When the galaxy laughed at humanity, weren't you afraid?" Marcus looked toward the stars. "Every human was afraid." The cadet looked confused. "Then why didn't you surrender?" Marcus smiled gently. "Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to move forward despite it." The young cadet nodded silently. He would never forget those words. Meanwhile, deep beyond the borders of known space, the exploration fleet detected something extraordinary. An ancient structure drifted between dying stars. It was larger than entire planets, unlike anything ever recorded. As the horizon approached, the massive structure slowly awakened. Golden lights illuminated its surface. Ancient symbols began glowing one after another. The Prometheus core, safely preserved aboard the horizon, suddenly activated on its own. A calm, familiar voice echoed through the ship. "Welcome home." Marcus froze. Professor Elena Ross stared at the glowing core. "This place, it's older than the Void Dominion." The entire crew watched as a doorway thousands of meters high slowly opened. Inside, an endless city of light stretched farther than the eye could see. The birthplace of the first civilization, the beginning of all intelligent life in the galaxy. Humanity had finally reached the destination that had been waiting for them all along. Back on Earth, the discovery was broadcast across every world. No fear filled the galaxy this time, only excitement. Children looked toward the stars with dreams instead of nightmares. Scientists prepared new missions. Artists painted humanity's journey. Historians rewrote the final chapter of the Old Age, not as the story of a war, but as the story of hope. 1 year later, a monument was unveiled outside the Unity Station. It showed a human hand and an alien hand reaching toward each other beneath the stars. At its base, only one sentence was engraved. The galaxy laughed at humanity until humanity showed the galaxy what true strength meant. Visitors from every civilization stopped to read those words. Many stood in silence. Some smiled. Others shed tears. Because everyone remembered how close the galaxy had come to destroying itself. Captain Marcus looked across the stars one final time. General Amelia Hayes joined him. "So, what's next?" Marcus smiled. "The universe is infinite. There will always be another horizon." He turned toward the bridge. "Set course." The engines of the horizon ignited. The ship disappeared into the sea of stars, not in search of new worlds to conquer, but in search of new worlds to understand. And somewhere beyond the edge of the known universe, a new adventure had already begun. Final narration. The galaxy once laughed at humanity because they believed strength belonged to the powerful. But humanity proved that true strength is not measured by the size of an army. It is measured by the courage to stand for others, even when the entire universe stands against you. And from that day forward, the name humanity was no longer spoken with laughter, it was spoken with respect. The end. Rocket Milky Way.